Hello, we are back with Eerie Elementary, The Locker Ate Lucy. This is number 2 in the series, and all the books in the series are written by Jack Chabert and illustrated by Sam Ricks. We are on chapters 4, 5, and 6. This one's called A Tight Spot. You can see, you remember when we stopped last time, they had just crawled into Lucy's locker to find her. Sam soon saw that the dark tunnel they were crawling through was actually an air vent. It carried cool air into the classrooms. Sam shivered, partly from the cool air and partly from fear. As they crawled, the inside of the air vent became wetter. Slimy goo dripped down the sides. "Oh, it feels like we're crawling through someone's nose," Antonio said. Each time Sam placed his hand down, it made a slushy sound. "I just wish it wasn't so dark," Sam said. Click! A light shone in the tunnel. Sam craned his neck and saw Antonio holding a cell phone. Antonio grinned. "My mom makes me carry it." "Smart," Sam said. They crawled forward through the muck. "So why do you think the school took Lucy?" Antonio asked. "Shh," Sam said, whispering. "We don't want the school to know we're coming." "I'll be very extra quiet," Antonio started, but then, achoo! "Antonio," Sam moaned. "I'm sorry, it's hard to breathe with your stinky sneakers in my face." Swoosh! A wave of air whooshed through the vent, blowing back Sam's hair. But this air was warm. It felt like someone's hot breath. "The school must be trying to figure out where we are," Sam whispered. "So don't make achoo!" This time it was Sam who sneezed. "Sam," Antonio said. "Sorry." Clang! Sam looked behind them. Lucy's locker door slammed shut. The school definitely knew where they were, and now they were trapped. No turning back. All of a sudden, the vent began to shake. The metal buckled and it began to squeeze them. Look at it squeezing on them. "We have to get out of here," Sam said. The vent squeezed tighter, closing around them, and it pressed against Sam's shoulders. It pressed against its legs. Sam and Antonio crawled forward as far as they could. The vent squeezed him harder. "It's gonna crush us," Antonio screamed. Chapter 5 is called Lunchtime. The vent was tightening fast. Both boys struggled to move. When Sam placed his hand down, he almost tumbled forward. There was nothing there, just air. The vent came to a sudden end. Well, anything's better than being crushed, Sam thought. And you can see it just stops right there. And he's coming right out. "Follow me," Sam said, "and get ready for a drop." Sam wriggled forward. And then he was falling. Sam screamed as he tumbled through the air. Splat! Sam splashed down on something gooey. "Heads up!" Antonio shouted. He was nose-diving toward Sam. Pow! Antonio plowed into Sam. It was pitch black. Antonio turned on his phone again and shone the light around. They were lying on a mountain of sticky gunk. "It looks like the nasty goo saved us," Antonio said as he wiped some from his face. "But where are we?" Even with the light from the phone, they couldn't see far ahead. Sam squinted. They were in a large room. There were tall pillars around the sides of the room and piles of junk all over the floor. The air felt damp. It smelled moldy. "We must be in the basement," Sam said, getting to his feet. He was covered in goo. His sneakers made squishy sounds with every step. Then Sam heard a different noise. The boys turned toward it. An old lunch cart was coming out of the darkness. Its wheels squeaked, echoing against the basement walls. It weaved slowly from side to side. Goosebumps covered Sam's skin. Antonio inched closer to Sam. No one was pushing the lunch cart. It was moving on its own. The lid opened and closed. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. The lid snapped like a mouth as it rolled toward them, and it wasn't stopping. "We're about to become school lunch," Sam yelled. Chapter 6 is called The Dark Basement. Sweat poured down Sam's forehead. He'd never been so scared in his life. The lunch cart rolled toward him and Antonio. Then, just as it was about to hit them, the boys jumped out of the way. Slam! The cart crashed so hard into the wall it shattered. Pieces of plastic showered Sam and Antonio. Antonio's jaw hung open. Sam? Maybe we should go back to get help," he said. Sam shook his head. He knew that the school was trying to scare them into giving up, but he was not going to let that happen. Lucy was counting on them. Besides, he knew they must have fallen 20 feet from the vent before they landed in that pile of goo. He didn't know how they'd ever get out of this basement. Sam turned to his friend. Antonio, we are deep inside the school now. I bet even Mr. Nakobe never made it this far. This is our chance to learn the secret of Eerie Elementary. If we can figure out what keeps it alive, we can learn how to beat it, Sam said. But Sam... And we must rescue Lucy, Sam continued. Antonio swallowed. You're right. Sam and Antonio began tiptoeing across the basement. Their hearts were pounding. Antonio shone the light as they walked. Goo ran down the walls. It dripped from the ceiling. Torn up jackets and shredded backpacks lay across the floor. Bent and twisted bicycles lay in heaps. Everything looked like it had been chewed up. It was like they were inside a body, and Sam thought if Eerie Elementary was a body, then this basement must be its stomach. Sam looked around and said, it looks like the school has just been eating backpacks and bicycles and stuff. Mr. Nakobe really has done a good job of protecting the students. You've done great too, Antonio said. If you hadn't saved us at the class play last Friday, I'd be down here. Come on, let's finish this, said Sam. The friends tiptoed along, and then Antonio grabbed Sam's arm. Look, Antonio said, pointing. What? Sam asked. He followed Antonio's beam of light over toward a rusty metal desk. It's him! It's Orson Eerie! Antonio yelled. Uh-oh! Chapter 7 is called The Face of Orson Eerie. Antonio was shining the light at a picture frame on the desk. Inside, there was an old black and white photo of a man. Geez, Antonio, Sam said, you scared me. I thought you meant Orson Eerie was here, like real back to life in person. Sam felt around on the wall until he found a light switch, and he flipped it on. 2 light bulbs flickered on. The light was dim, but Sam could see that this corner of the basement was a sort of office. There were charts hanging from the walls and papers on the desk. Everything was covered in a thick layer of dust. The boys stepped closer to the desk. Sam picked up the picture frame. You're right, Sam said. Look at the glasses and the creepy mustache. This is Orson Eerie. You see him right there? I don't think anyone has been in here in a long, long time, Antonio said, picking up a newspaper. This is from 1938. That's older than my grandmother. That's older than, like, my grandmother's grandmother. Whoa, said Sam. And what is this? A large piece of blue paper lay out on the desk. It looks like a blueprint, Antonio said, like a drawing of a building. That makes sense. This big room looks like our gym, see? Said Sam, pointing to the blueprint. It's like a map of Eerie Elementary. Suddenly a girl's voice called out, Help! Lucy! Sam and Antonio said at once. Lucy's cries were coming from beyond a large metal door. It was at the far end of the dark basement. A sign on the door read, Heating and Cooling Room. Let's go, Sam said. The boys quickly stuffed everything they could fit into their pockets, papers, a small book, and the blueprint. But as soon as they did, everything in the basement came to life. Whoosh, a dodgeball flew at Sam. Sam grabbed Antonio by the wrist. Come on! Sam shouted, ducking beneath the ball. Go get Lucy! Sam dodged 2 frisbees that rocketed towards him. Antonio jumped over roller skates that shot toward his legs like cannonballs. The school was loud. Sam thought it sounded like a stomach rumbling. The walls shook and the floors shifted. Sam and Antonio stumbled from side to side. Backpacks opened wide and threw rulers, pencils, and books at them. The heating and cooling room door was just ahead. Keep running, Sam yelled. But Antonio stopped in his tracks. Sam looked back. Something long that looked like a spear was headed for Antonio. A wiffle ball bat! Sam pulled Antonio behind a large pillar. Whoosh! The bat flew past. Okay, now I'm mad, Antonio said. Let's find Lucy and get out of this crazy basement. Sam peeked around the pillar. We just need to reach that door. But who knows what's waiting for us on the other side, asked Antonio. There's only one way to find out, Sam said. Chapter 8 is called Lucy. Sam and Antonio charged toward the heating and cooling room. Sam ripped the door open, then quickly shut it behind them. Crash! 100 mad, chewed-up things slammed into the closed door. Sam caught his breath and looked around the room. One wall was covered with a maze of rusty old pipes. The pipes were alive! They moved like an army of snakes, and as they twisted, they scraped together, making a screeching noise. Lucy, Sam yelled, pointing. His friend was suspended in midair, hanging upside down. One of the pipes was wrapped around her ankle. Guys, you found me! Please get me down from here, Lucy shrieked. Lucy calling for help made the school angrier. The pipe around Lucy's ankle began flinging her through the air. That pipe is throwing Lucy around like a doll, said Antonio. Hang on, Lucy, Sam yelled. Sam and Antonio began climbing the giant wall of pipes. Unlike the basement, this room was not covered in goo. The metal pipes were dry and the boys were able to grip them. Sam could feel water rushing through the pipes. These pipes must pump water throughout the school, thought Sam. Antonio leapt off one pipe and grabbed the pipe around Lucy's right ankle. He tugged, trying to pull her free. I'm coming, said Sam. The pipe is wrapped so tight, Antonio yelled as he tugged. Help, Lucy cried. Antonio pulled harder, but then, clank! The pipe jumped in his hand, throwing him to the ground. Ah! Antonio said, getting to his feet. It's no use! Sam jumped down. There has to be a way to make that pipe let go of her, he thought. He looked around the room. The school's water heater stood in the corner. Sam's dad was a plumber, so Sam knew all about this stuff. This water heater warmed the water, and then it pumped the warm water throughout the school. A wheel on the front controlled how fast the water moved through the pipes. If I turn that wheel, I could slow down the water. Maybe that will weaken the pipes and make them let go of Lucy, Sam thought. Sam grabbed the wheel. It was rusty and stiff. Finally, it started turning, but it wasn't helping. Lucy was flung around faster. What are you doing, Sam? Yelled Antonio. Stop! You're making it worse, Lucy screamed. She was being whipped through the air at lightning speed, faster and faster. Sam had to free his friend before it was too late. Chapter 9. The Horrible Truth. The school kept flinging Lucy through the air, back and forth, back and forth. Sam got an idea. I must be turning the wheel the wrong way. Hang on, he shouted. Sam spun the big wheel in the opposite direction. The water began draining from the pipes. It was working. The pipes were losing their energy. They were becoming weaker. Then the pipe around Lucy's ankle loosened its grip, and it dropped her. Ah! Yelled Lucy, falling. At the last moment, Lucy grabbed a hold of the lower hanging pipe. Antonio helped her get down. You're okay, Antonio said. Lucy wiped some sweat from her forehead. So, she said, what took you guys so long? Sam and Antonio smiled. Their friend was safe. What is all that? Lucy said, pointing to the papers sticking up out of Sam and Antonio's pockets. Oh yeah, Sam said. We found this creepy office back there. It's full of lots of old junk. Maybe that blueprint will show us how to get back upstairs, said Antonio. Good thinking, said Lucy. You find a way out of here while I dig through this other stuff. Sam, Antonio, and Lucy took a seat on the floor and got to work. Look at this, Lucy said, holding up a red leather book. This is Orson Eerie's journal. It sounds like he was some sort of mad scientist. Whoa, Antonio whispered. What else does his journal say? Sam asked. Lucy's eyes darted over the pages. After a minute, she lowered the book and said, as Orson Eerie grew old, all he cared about was the idea of endless life. In his last journal entry, he writes, I've done it! I've found a way to live forever! Sam remembered something. Lucy, do you still have that library book? Lucy's eyes lit up. Yes, she said. She slipped her backpack off her shoulder and handed the book to Sam. Look, Sam said, flipping to the page where she'd left off that morning. It says Orson Eerie was an architect, someone who designs buildings. And, oh man, he designed Eerie Elementary. Wait a minute, said Antonio. A mad scientist designed our school. No wonder it's crazy creepy. Sam, Antonio, and Lucy were silent. The only sound came from the water heater. It sounded like a heart beating. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. It was then that Sam Graves understood the terrible truth about Orson Eerie and about Eerie Elementary. All right, that was the end of chapter 9. I think I forgot to stop in that recording. I was supposed to do chapter 4, 5, and 6, but I did 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the next video will be chapters 10, 11, and 12.